Okay, we're here in our photo mechanic program and we're going to start sorting. Now there's a couple of different ways to actually go about sorting, and our brains think about things a little bit differently. So I'm including two different methods in here. One I love to use, one my wife loves to use. So we, even in our own marriage, use different methods of how we actually go about looking through pictures and picking which ones we want. So this is the photo mechanic program and the layout, and I've got the wedding loaded in there. First things first, just one setting that you'll may want to make sure that is correct is in the raw part of the preferences, is to use JPEG preview for speed. So you want the program to be able to render the image sharp for the screen, not necessarily have all of the information from the picture. So that'll speed things up a little bit, and that is good to go. Now, whenever I sorting is one of those tasks to me that I just have to get done. It's not something that I love to do. My wife loves it, likes it a little better, or quite a bit better than I do. But it's a task that I have to do, so I'm going to get mentally prepared in order to do it. I'll have my headphones on. I'll put on something upbeat, something that I want to listen to. I will turn off all other notifications, all other distractions. There is nothing that is going to keep me from finishing this wedding at this point. That means that if you have built-in distractions in your home, such as kids and such, make sure you're doing this at a time of day when you can actually focus and get it done, because nothing is more frustrating than doing a task and getting a half done and then still having to remember to do it later. So this is the general view of Photo Mechanic when you get into it. One of the things that I do when I'm sorting is, because I want to be solely focused on the images and solely focused on the task that I'm doing, I'll actually make this completely full screen so that all I see is the pictures. Okay, so there are two different ways to look at it, and it depends on how your brain works. Currently, these images are set up based on, or they're sorted based on the capture time of the camera. So that necessitates that when you start the wedding, that you make sure that all of your cameras that you're using, if you have a dual camera setup for yourself or you're shooting with a second shooter, that all of the cameras are synced to the same capture time. This is very important, because otherwise you'll have images scattered out that don't make sense into where they are, and it will mess with your brain when you're sorting, and that will make you take longer. And our whole goal is here to not take longer. We want to get this done faster. So make sure all of your your cameras are synced. This will help you to deliver them all in a chronological order. But you certainly can, if things are out of order, if this particular camera is out of order, you can choose to adjust capture times and dates so that they are all in order. Extra step, hopefully it won't be necessary, but there will be a wedding at some point when you get your capture times wrong and it's frustrating. You can change that in there. This is the way that my wife likes to sort, and it's by capture time. And so she is reliving the day. She is going through it image by image in the order that they are captured. Where this is good is it allows you to see all of the images that you're getting. So even if one of us was overdoing some makeup detail shots, we were getting, one person was getting some pictures of the bride while the other was dealing with some details. The person calling is getting a great understanding of exactly what they are delivering. If you have multiple cameras, for instance, I'm shooting the groom getting ready here, and I've got two different cameras doing it. So one's a wide view, one's probably a 24 or a 35, whereas one's the 105. And you can see what in total you're getting from that. So it's a great way to sort. It gets you through it. The downfall of it, the only thing that I don't like about it, is my brain gets distracted very easily. My mother-in-law calls me a Jack Russell Terrier. My brain shoots off in another direction really quickly. So if I'm sorting through images and all of a sudden the shoe pictures come up, which is from camera number 3, it's going to mess with me. I'm going to have to think about that for a second. So if I'm looking at this in full screen, okay, I like that one. Don't like that one. Oh, what is this shoe picture doing there? It might be just a very small interruption, but small interruption by small interruption by small interruption by small interruption is going to make me a little bit frustrated on the inside, and it's also going to make me take longer to do the job. So that is one of the options, to do things chronologically, and I'm sure there are many of you that will work that way. The second option is to sort by the serial number of the camera. So the time that it was captured and the serial number of the camera. So as soon as I do that, it's going to sort the images by that camera's shooting. And it's a small change, but for me what this does, and I prefer this method, because this will allow my brain to continue to focus on the same thing at the same time, the whole way through. You'll see all of the same from that particular camera shot throughout the whole wedding. And if I continue down here, you'll see what I mean. So if we look at those groom getting ready photos, it's just the photos from the one camera, not both. Then we move on, and we move on, and we move on, and then all of those particular shots specifically of the bride. And you see how this is all of the options that I have of that camera, of that lens choice in that location of the bride. For me, this is awesome. I love this because now I can fire through these very quickly and select in what it is that I want as I'm going through the images. I don't like that one. Let's get rid of that. And you can choose exactly what you want and never be distracted from that. And so for me, this feels cleaner and it helps me to go faster. Now, it does mean that I have to go through the entire wedding chronologically 3 or 4 times, depending on how many cameras were used. But this really helps me to get going quickly through it. So the only task that we're doing through here, the only thing that we're doing through here is we are selecting we're picking the photos that we're going to deliver to the client. And the goal for me is to do it very quickly. Certainly I want to do it accurately, but very quickly. So there's a third little note that I want to make about methods, and that is if you are fearful about missing photos, if you're fearful that by speeding up you might miss something crucial that you're supposed to be putting into this wedding, something that you're supposed to be delivering, then I would recommend adding a little step on the beginning. We said earlier that we have a method of shooting 72 must-have images through the day. So make yourself a list of the most important shots from each part of the day that you have to get and go through the whole wedding and pick them. Okay, I need a shot of... well, I would actually do that in the chronological method, but I need a photo of the bride getting her hair done. Select it. I need a photo of the dress. Select it. I need a photo of the flowers. Select the must-haves first, and then go back and use one of the other methods to add into everything that you are delivering. This has helped some of our clients make sure that they're delivering exactly what they want while still taking less time to do it. Once you get comfortable with the way that you're sorting, then go ahead and eliminate that part and just get right into sorting either by the serial number of the camera and time or by the chronological method through the wedding. What we're doing here is we're just selecting in the ones we want to keep in. In the next step, we're going to do a much more specific edit with purpose. So because every one of the tasks that we're doing is very specific, very targeted, and we know exactly what we have to do, all you are doing here is selecting in the images that you want to deliver to the client. Just to give you an example, this is the speed at which I sort through weddings. You can also use the zoom button to check sharpness, and the nice thing about the zoom button is it will go back to the spot that you were looking at before. So a quick tap of the Z will give you your zoom of what's in focus. Now, once we are done with our sort, we're going to sort by rating. By habit, I always 3-star as my select ins because I like where my finger sits on the keyboard when I'm hitting 3. So we're going to select all of our 3 stars, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a temporary folder just with our selects so that we can go into the next section and do an advanced selection of our pictures. So I'm going to copy those over to our sorted folder. I'm going to make a new folder called sorted. That's what I'm going to use for that. Within the clients folder, I'm going to copy that over and get those completed. And we are then finished with our first task of culling, which is just choosing the images that you want to deliver to your client.